I just got my eyebrows threaded and I am ready to party. Hey guys, it's V. Today I have a review for you guys. I feel like I haven't done a review like this in a really long time. I am going to be doing a palette review, an eyeshadow palette, and be it that, I am doing a drugstore eyeshadow palette review for you. Someone commented on one of my videos and let me know that this product was out and it really intrigued me. So I am talking about the new Covergirl's Trunaked Jewels palette. Now they do have 3 other Trunaked palettes that are kind of supposed to be very similar to the Naked palettes. Personally, none of those really appealed to me. I have the Naked 1 and the Naked 2, and I don't really care to have the Naked 3, so those shades just weren't, you know, really like jumping out at me, so I never picked any of those up. But this one had some really punchy colors in it, so I thought that I would pick it up. So it was $12.99. I got mine at CVS, but I did see it at Walgreens and also Ulta as well. It has got 8 colors in it, and I mean, these colors are fun. They are definitely not neutral. This is definitely a very jewel toned palette like the name suggests. So it's just a clear top, no mirror. It also does come with a little sponge applicator here. So you get one that has a normal sponge side on this side and then a like sort of pointed sponge side on the other side. Back to basics with those sponge applicators. I always love when drugstore palettes come with those. And then on the back of the palette, it also has got a few different eye looks, which I personally don't think I would do any of them because they suggest putting shimmery colors in the crease, which is just not something that I am currently practicing. So this eyeshadow palette does say on the back of it that it is looks designed by Pat McGrath, which is pretty crazy. She's a very well-known makeup artist. She has a line of makeup of her own, so that's really interesting that she helped to design these. Also, I will be doing a tutorial on this eye look at the end of the video, so stay tuned till the end of the video if you want to see how I used this palette to create this look. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into swatches of all of the colors. I'll go ahead and talk about them while I swatch them. I am going to swatch them with my little finger and also a brush. I used a Bella Pierre eyeshadow number 35 brush, and in between cleaning it I used the Cinema Secrets Pro Cleaner, which pretty much automatically dries, but I did wait a good 30 seconds to a minute before going into the next shadow so that the brush was completely dry, and I made sure of that between each swatch. So even though the palette does not show the names of these eyeshadows, if you peel up this little tutorial back here, it actually gives you the names of all of the shadows here. So let's go ahead and get into swatching all of the shadows. So the first one is going to be Pearl, and that one is just a very shimmery white color. There's not much to say about it. It swatches okay, but it is sort of more of a highlight brow bone type of color, so it's pigmented enough to get the job done. That is what I have on my inner corners and on my brow bone today, so personally I really like that color. I think it's a really pretty tone. So the second eyeshadow in the palette is called Quartz, which I absolutely love that name. I really like this color. I just wish it was a little bit more pigmented. I wish it had a little more of a punch. You kind of really have to build it up in order to get it to show on the eyelids, and I have very pale skin, so this is a very light color. I just worry with deeper skin tones that you won't even be able to see it at all. The next color is Sunstone. This one swatches really beautifully. This one reminds me a lot of the Birthday Boy color that ColourPop came out with pretty recently. It's kind of a taupey purple, and it's got little pink purple flecks of glitter in it. It's very pretty. The next one is called Amethyst, which I also love the name. Okay, the fact that this is called Jewels palette, I mean, I just love all of them because I love crystals and jewels and everything like that. So this color also swatches very well. It's really pigmented, very pretty. It's got kind of like a shimmer to it, but it's not really so far as to say a glitter. Very pretty shadow, very bright. So that is the first 4 colors swatched with a brush and also with a finger. And the next one, you could guess the name of this with your eyes closed. It is called Sapphire. It is a gorgeous blue color. That's what I have on my lower lash line today. Very pigmented. I also tried this in my waterline the other day and it looked really pretty there as well. So that one is a good shadow, very smooth. The only one that has a little bit different of a texture is this shade Green Amber, and it's got kind of a little bit of a gritty texture to it. This one I do feel performs a lot better when it is wet, but it's not terrible in a swatch. It's just not my favorite. I personally think it's gorgeous once you wet it with some kind of setting spray or something and then apply it. I think it looks much better that way. And then the next one, number 7, is called Gold Ore. This one is beautiful, you guys. It swatches beautifully. It applies beautifully. I used this with the little sponge that came in the palette the other day and applied it all over, and it is a beautiful shade. It is definitely the creamiest out of all the colors, and so it does get some powder fallout to it, but it's still gorgeous. And then the last one is called Onyx, and you can see in my swatch here that this one does have glitter in it, but once you kind of rub it, the glitter basically falls off. It doesn't really stick to the powder very much, so it's pretty much a matte black, but they want you to think it's got some sparkle in it. Still a good black though. And that is the last 4 colors swatched with a brush and also a finger. And I just thought I would show you guys a super up close-up so you can see the shimmer and all of the shadows and the little glitters in them too. So now let's go ahead and get into the tutorial part of the video. So if you want to see how I got this look, we're gonna do that right now. Okay, you guys, let's get into this. I love seeing one eye done and one eye not. It's so weird. Okay, so I am going to take my Jewels palette, and the first color I'm going to go into with a blending brush is Quartz, and I am just going to blend that all in my crease. Really try to build it up, although I am going to use another color on top of it. So this wasn't a super important step, but I wanted to try and use as many colors as I could in this tutorial. This one just isn't super pigmented, so I was kind of disappointed in it a little bit, but I'm just going to keep blending that. And then next I'm going to go into the Neutrals versus Neutral palette from Makeup Revolution. This is the one shade that I had to bring in order to make this look come together for me, and I'm just using a neutral brown and really blending that into the crease with a small blender brush, kind of blending it over that shade and blending it a little bit higher than my crease area as well. And then I'm taking a smaller, smudgy kind of crease brush, and I'm using the Onyx shade and just really blending that in my outer corner. This I did go ahead and speed up for you guys because blacks, you just have to take your time with them, so I took a lot of time blending. It's so funny because I never use black eyeshadow anymore. I used to use it every single day in high school, but I never use it anymore, so I really took my time with it, and I'm also putting it in my inner corner as well because I want this to be sort of a halo-y type look, and as you can see, the glitter that is supposedly in this shadow really does not show once you blend it. And then I'm also going to take that shade and go over the center of my eye just with what I have left. I'm not dipping into Onyx anymore, just very lightly going over the center of my eyelid to connect the inner and outer. And then I'm taking the Infallible spray, spraying a brush. That's what happened with the Green Amber shade when I didn't use Infallible spray. Got a lot of fallout and also didn't really show up very pigmented on the eye. But once you use Infallible spray, it looks gorgeous. So I am patting that on the center of my lid, just really packing it on there. Really easy actually. Like doing a halo eye is one of my favorites because it's really not that hard to do, and I'm just using a flat shader brush. Then I'm taking the sponge and going into the Sapphire shade, and I'm going to put that on the center of my lower lash line and then a little bit towards the back, but not a whole lot. I actually really like this for blending the lower lash line. And then I'm just taking Onyx again and blending that on the outer and also the inner portion of my lower lash line just to blend out that blue just a tiny bit. And then I'm going back in with that neutral brown shade and just blending underneath that just so it's not super stark and harsh and making it look more like the top of my eye. Then I'm just taking some Kat Von D tattoo liner in Trooper and doing the tiniest, the slimmest little eyeliner line on the top of my lash line just so that my false lashes blend in a little bit better. Then I'm taking the Marc Jacobs eyeliner because it is so pigmented in black, and I'm putting that on my lower waterline because this is supposed to be a little smoky. And then I'm taking the Maybelline Lash Sensational Waterproof and putting that on the lower, and the Roller Lash from Benefit on the top. And I'm just really coating the lashes, making sure they're black. And then also tightlining the top. Doesn't that look weird with that thing rolled out so much? I just feel like it's easier to tightline when it's rolled out a little bit more. I don't know. And then I am taking the Daisy False Lashes, which I did have to trim a little bit. I swear I have to trim every lash that I ever put on, but I really, really like these. These are the first Kiss lashes that I've ever tried, and they are beautiful. And then I'm going to take the Pearl shade with a Morphe E36 and put that on my inner corner on the bottom, and also highlight the brow bone a little bit, give it its own little moment, you know what I mean? And then I believe we just have to cover the lash band just a tiny bit more with the Kat Von D, and then we are totally finito after that. We are going to be done. So I hope you guys really like this look. I love the way that it turned out, so I'm really happy with it. So to gather all of my thoughts about this palette all together, I would say this is actually a really good drugstore palette. I was really, really surprised by the pigmentation, the softness, the smoothness, the application of all of these shadows. The only one, like I said, that had a little bit rocky of an application was the green color, Green Amber. But once you wet it, I wet it with the L'Oreal Infallible Spray. It looks beautiful. That's what I have on the center of my lids today. And also the Onyx color. It's basically more of a matte black. That's what I have on the inner and outer corners of my eyes today, and once you blend it out, you really can't see the glimmer or the sparkles in it much at all. Another small little gripe that I kind of have with this palette is that there's no real transition color. The only one that they give you is Quartz, and like I said, if you're a medium skin tone, I feel like you're not even gonna see that shade on you. I feel like it would have been good maybe between these two colors here to maybe just include a little bit deeper of just a brown color, just to make it a little bit easier to blend, because for this eye look I did have to bring in one other color in order to kind of get all of them to work together nicely. So that is another gripe that I have for this palette, but other than the fact that it doesn't have sort of a neutral kind of color to help blend all of these colors together, I do really like this palette. Again, I bought this palette with my own money. I have no reason to say anything either way about it, but I really, really actually like this. The colors that are my favorite in this palette, I would probably say are definitely Gold Ore. That one is beautiful. I just feel like it's so creamy and so soft. The only problem I have with it is it kind of, you get a lot of powder when you go into it. Even with just the sponge, it kind of, you know, the powder kind of bunches up a little bit, but that's just because it's so creamy. I feel like on the lid it is such a beautiful color. And then my other favorite color would probably be this one here, Sunstone, just because I love the fact that this one is so close to that Birthday Boy ColourPop color, which was so beautiful, but it was limited edition. So I love the fact that you can get a color similar to that at the drugstore. The fact that this is $13, I guess I would say it's worth the price. The only reason I would say it's not is, again, because it doesn't have any kind of transition-y colors. But for a specialty palette, if you're looking for colors like this, pretty much all of them perform really well, in my opinion. I think that this one would definitely be one to pick up if you're looking for colors like this. If you're looking for a neutral palette, no, this is not going to be what you're wanting. But I think that this is beautiful, and I'm really glad that I purchased it. So I guess that is everything for my review today. If you guys liked it, be sure to show some love to the like button down there, and if you subscribe, you can be a member of my Muse family. This was such a fun video to film. I feel like I don't do these hardly ever anymore, where I review a palette and then do an eye look with it. I used to do that all the time when I first started doing YouTube videos, so it was really fun to do this for you guys. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!